With over 70,000 aircraft in the air at any one time, all requiring air traffic services, it is not possible for them all to communicate their flight intentions to the controllers. Since not only would the airways be even busier than they are, but it would give the controller a little time to plan a traffic service to a particular aircraft. As a result, a procedure was introduced so that prior to departure, a pilot would provide information about the flight to the air traffic service unit. This procedure is called the flight plan. Flight plans detail specific information about the flight, like its registration, number of people on board, its route, equipment, and so on. This information, provided to the air traffic service unit prior to departure, will help the air traffic service unit maximize safety, airspace usage, and the flow management of traffic. However, there are certain procedures about flight plans that must be adhered to, and this lesson will aim to describe these procedures to you. Firstly, let us examine the procedures for submitting a flight plan. A flight plan can either be submitted before departure or in flight, depending on the circumstances. However, more commonly, a flight plan is submitted prior to departure. And if so, it should be made in person by telephone or any other means to the air traffic services reporting office at the departure aerodrome. If no such unit exists at the departure aerodrome, the flight plan should be submitted to the unit serving the airspace surrounding the departure aerodrome. In other words, the first ATSU with whom the flight would normally expect to communicate. In normal circumstances, a flight plan should be submitted at least 1 hour before departure. But this can vary depending on certain circumstances. If a flight is planned to enter the oceanic control area or a flow management system, then the flight plan should be submitted not less than 3 hours before departure. In exceptional circumstances, air traffic control will accept a flight plan 30 minutes before departure, but the piloting command must be prepared to accept whatever air traffic control can offer by way of a clearance. For a non-commercial, non-scheduled international flight, the flight plan is to be filed at least 2 hours before arrival. Whilst it is very beneficial for air traffic service units to have the flight plans, so that they can carefully plan accordingly, problems arise when an aircraft, but whatever reason, is delayed. The reason it is problematic is because part of the air traffic control planning is to time the aircraft through its various stages of flight so that air traffic service units can maximize airspace usage and improve safety. There are critical times used by air traffic units and air traffic flow management units that help in the timing of aircraft within the air traffic system. These are the estimated off-blocks time, which is when the aircraft is simply pushed off its blocks to commence its taxi, and the slot time, which is the estimated takeoff time. Delays to departure of an excess of 30 minutes to the estimated off-blocks time for a controlled flight, or a delay of an hour for an uncontrolled flight, should result in an amended or new flight plan being issued, and the old flight plan cancelled. With as many as 9 regular flights from London to New York by British Airways every day, it seems a logical practice that for frequent pre-planned operations that reoccur with identical basic features may be exempted from the requirement to submit a separate flight plan for each individual flight. In such cases, a repetitive flight plan, or RPL, is used, thus eliminating the need to file a flight plan each time such flights are operated, apart from the reductions in the number of flight plans required to be filed. The use of a repetitive flight plan offers a number of other advantages, such as a reduction of errors due to poor handwriting, an appreciable reduction in the work of operators and air traffic service units, and an appreciable reduction in the load on communication channels used between air traffic service units and between operators. There are some basic rules that you need to be aware of as to when a repetitive flight plan can be used by an operator. Repetitive flight plans are used for IFR flights operated regularly on the same days of consecutive weeks, on at least 10 occasions, or every day over a period of at least 10 days. There is a good deal more information on repetitive flight plans that could be mentioned, but this does not form part of the learning objectives. If you want to increase your knowledge of repetitive flight plans, please read the document from ICAO PANS ATM, document 4444. Although most flight plans, and indeed or repetitive flight plans, are issued before departure, a flight plan can be submitted during flight. If this were the case, the flight plan should normally be transmitted to the Air Traffic Services unit in charge of the flight information region, control area, or advisory area in which the aircraft is flying. The rule for submitting the flight plan in flight is that the pilot must ensure its receipt by the Air Traffic Service unit at least 10 minutes before the aircraft reaches the control area or advisory area, and must wait for a clearance prior to proceeding on course. When an air traffic service unit receives a flight plan, before it can action the required service and plan accordingly for the aircraft concerned, the unit must check, firstly, that the flight plan complies with the agreed conventions, and secondly, but the flight plan completeness and accuracy. If any of this falls below the required standard, the unit must take action to make it acceptable and indicate to the originator the change and subsequent approval and acceptance of the flight plan. Once a flight plan has been submitted and accepted, a flight will follow the routing and procedure as laid down in the flight plan and abide by any clearance that air traffic controls stipulate. However, a pilot on an IFR flight plan may change to a VFR flight plan. This can only be accepted by an air traffic service unit when a message initiated by the pilot in command contains the specific expression cancelling my IFR flight. The message must also include any changes to be made to any current flight plan. No invitation to change from IFR to VFR flight will be initiated by an air traffic service unit. Upon receipt of the message, no reply, other than the acknowledgement confirming the time of cancellation, should be made. However, an air traffic service unit is to inform the pilot in command anytime there is information that instrument meteorological conditions are likely to be encountered along that particular flight. The reason for this is simple. Any pilot with any license level, with or without an instrument rating, is not allowed to fly by visual flight rules when instrument meteorological conditions exist, that is when it is not possible to visually navigate the aircraft. There may not be many cases for scheduled international flights to change from IFR to VFR, but this may be useful on smaller charter operations. When the aircraft is operating outside of Class A airspace and can easily navigate by visual means the final part of the flight to the destination airfield. Once an air traffic service unit receives a notification that a pilot intends to change from IFR flight to VFR flight, then they should notify all other air traffic services forward of the aircraft present position to which the original IFR flight plan was addressed. The last area to cover regarding the procedures of flight plan in aiding air traffic management is the closure of a flight plan. When an aircraft lands at its destination airfield, an arrival report must be completed. The receipt of this arrival report by the Air Traffic Service Unit closes the flight plan. Arrival reports shall be made in person, by radio, data link or telephone, immediately after landing to the appropriate Air Traffic Services Unit at the aerodrome of arrival within 30 minutes of arrival. Failure to do so will result in the activation of the search and rescue facilities with an issue of an uncertainty phase called INSAFA. If no such traffic service unit exists at the arrival aerodrome, then a pilot must use